in this week's episode of NDVision. Okay, so went to SIO, lived here, her life, married your high school sweetheart, right?
No, not he was my high school best friend.
Oh, hold on. I need to get into this a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a natural not texter backer. Yeah. My friend Angie, like, she's always like, I have to write to you again because I know that you're not going to respond.
I'm a caller.
You are.
Like my buddy, someone will text me or something and I'll just, I'll call them. Right away.
I like calling too.
You know what's a good diet? Stress and depression.
Oh my God, that's a riot.
Lift off that.
Welcome to season 2 of NDVision, the visual podcast that you can also listen to. I'm joined here today by two lovely women. Megan, hello.
Hello.
Bethany, hello.
Hi.
And you two have two pretty inspiring stories that we're going to talk about today.
Oh,
right. But first, the thing I have every guest do before they come on, and you can whoever wants to go first, you can rock, paper, scissors. But just tell me a little brief history about yourselves and where you started and where you're at now.
You go first because you're longer.
I 3.5 years ago decided I was going to be sober. I needed to live a different lifestyle that I was living.
Hold on, I do want to get into the topic.
You want just general?
Yeah, just general. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you start? Have you lived here all your life?
Well, I'm longer then.
I'm just kidding.
So whoever wants to go first.
No, you can keep going.
All right. I am from SIO my whole life. Mm-hmm. I've left a few times, and I always come back. I work at Wellsville School. I coach the varsity boys soccer team. I'm a teacher's assistant. I'm in college full time.
What do you TA for?
8th grade.
8th grade? Okay.
Yep.
Any specific subject or ever
just the general grade. I'm in college full time, so I can be a special education teacher.
Nice.
I have 4 boys. I'm married. 4 dogs.
Where are you going to school at?
Empire State.
Oh, Nicole, my wife.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah. Small world.
So, my therapist says my new coping skill is making sure I busy myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so went to SIO, lived here, her life, married your high school sweetheart, right?
No, not he was my high school best friend.
Oh, hold on. I need to get into this a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. He was one of my closest friends during high school. We've both been married and divorced.
Okay. So you were both married and divorced. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we've only been, not only, but we've been together for 10 years.
Okay. That is a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Megan, go ahead.
I'm born and raised in Wellsville. I moved out to Long Island 2004, and I moved back probably, I can't even remember.
I didn't know you lived in Long
2007.
Island. I'm learning so much.
Yeah. And I moved back, and I had Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 years after that, I met Nick, married him. Actually, we married, it was very fast. And I had a store for 9 years, sold it, and now I do interior design, mostly commercial now.
Should we cut away to This Is Why I Shop?
Oh my God, that was hysterical.
That was the best.
That really it still gets talked to about this.
I think of 3 commercials in my life. I think of I shipped my pants from Kmart. Whoever was the marketing manager agency for Kmart at the end, I would send them billions. And then Jake from State Farm. And
This Is Why I Shop.
This Is Why I Shop.
This Is Why I Shop.
This is why.
And then when I threw the money, that was so funny.
You see Heather just like,
oh my God, that seriously. And I think it's on Vimeo. It's on my Vimeo channel.
If you have a minute, YouTube or just Google,
very funny.
This Is Why I Shop Trend Addictions. And Trend Addictions was your clothing store.
And it was a commercial that I made. It was so funny.
What'd you do in Long Island? How long were you there?
I was the merchandising manager for a Barnes & Noble at Stony Brook University.
Okay. Oh, I figured Stony Brook would be in Stony Brook.
No, there's a Stony Brook University in Stony Brook, New York.
Oh, there's an actual town called Stony Brook, New York.
Mm-hmm. It's a medical school mostly.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm learning so much new things.
Yeah.
Season 2 is going to be great.
2.
But we are going to be talking something slightly heavy. And Bethany, you can go ahead and continue that. So, how I understand it, just to begin here, is you both are sober, completely sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
From alcohol and any other extracurriculars that you do. There's
nothing.
Stuff. And you are a year. We'll get into it. But you're a little longer, right?
Yeah, I'm 3.5, little over 3.5 years.
And did you inspire?
Yes.
Megan, was that the inspiration there?
I'll go into it when you get to that point where you did your post.
Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yeah, so 3.5 years ago, December 11th, I missed my best friend's birthday party at the brewery. I had already started drinking that evening, and I couldn't drive to Wellsville. And I woke up the next morning after everybody had so much fun and text messages, where were you? And that was it. That was just it. I woke up December 12th, and I decided I was no longer going to drink. I was a social smoker, so that was out the door. I decided I would give caffeine a boot, and also that I would be vegetarian.
Oh.
Do it all.
I'm a pretty all or nothing, so...
Are you still vegetarian?
I'm not.
Okay.
2 years. That made it 2 years.
Wow, that's actually quite a long time.
I committed. I still don't drink caffeine. No nicotine. Yeah, I
cannabis?
had thought about it. No
cannabis. Okay.
No.
I feel like we're like addictive personalities. So it's
I'm so addictive.
If you're gonna, because everybody always kept saying, well, why don't you just smoke some pot? I'm like, I'd be addicted to it and I wouldn't stop. Like, no, I can't do anything.
I'm so addictive. I won $500 Monday on a scratch off ticket, and I have to make a conscious decision for the last 4 days to not go buy more scratch off tickets. I'm like, but I could win more.
Right.
But I like that. Yeah. It's my personality.
Yep.
It's my heredity. It's deep in me.
Yeah.
How much were you drinking before you made a decision? Because if you were pre-gaming that hard before,
I don't think it was that I was drinking because I was happy, or I was drinking because I was sad. It wasn't, I don't think, mass amounts all the time, but I just couldn't celebrate, or I couldn't be sad without. I just wanted the voices in my head to be quiet. Like my brain is going 100. Always. Mm-hmm. And it was just the one thing that quieted my brain. And it was nice. Drinking. Yeah.
Yep. So when you got home, like from work and stuff, would you find yourself, let me just clarify real quick that I am not a doctor. I am not an expert. None of us are experts. We're just having a conversation about two who made it through and sobered their lives. So, and it's just their stories. So we're just having a chat about it. We're not doing anything medically or doctor related. But how many did you come home and drink, or was it just the weekends?
Not every night.
Okay.
But it was always a coping skill. If something was stressful, then I did need to drink. If something was overjoyous, then I had to celebrate. And it just became like I wasn't able to do any of those things without drinking.
Yep.
So, like I said, when I missed my friend's birthday party, I needed to get it in check. So when I decided, actually, the next morning, it wasn't a long term. It was not now.
Right.
I need to feel these feelings. I'm very high strung, very high anxiety, and it was just cyclic. I drank, so then I was anxious, so then I would drink to take away the anxiety. Like, I needed to break the cycle. Mm-hmm. So I had just, looked at it at little chunks, and in probably 2 or 3 months in, I was like, I'm never drinking again.
And like you said, it was just cold turkey.
Yep.
So that's how I quit smoking cigarettes. I smoked for almost 20 years. And like June 17th of 2020, I'll never forget that. The doctors were like...
you always remember the date.
I always remember the date. The doctor was like, we tell people every day, because I have Barrett's esophagus, which is like a really bad GERD. It's really bad GERD, basically. And main cause was smoking. And he's like, we tell people every day that they should quit smoking, but you need to stop now or you're going to get cancer. Like, just flat out said that. And I had I don't know how many cigarettes left in a pack, and I just threw them right in the garbage, and that was it. Like, my kids couldn't get me to quit.
Yeah.
They didn't know, actually. But I was like I'd wear a glove and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just like that. That's like what woke me up. And it sounds like for you, missing your friend's party, it was just like,
no more. I just made this, I woke up, rash decision, and I knew, I think a handful of times in months prior, like I was like, I'm going to take a break, and, a week break was good. I did it. Hey, look at me. But that morning, I knew it wasn't going to be a week. I knew it wasn't going to be a month, but I didn't know it was going to be a lifetime.
You had talked about it too for a while before, because to help your blood pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have, like, a lot of my anxiety is health anxiety. I have high blood pressure since I was, 24 or something stupid. Like, so I had always had health anxiety, and I was like, what can I do I can stop smoking socially. I can stop drinking. Like, that's gotta do something good. And so, I had toyed with it, but I had always attributed it to wanting to help my physical health and not my mental health.
Okay. Right? Now, do you, this is a question for both of you. I think that the best way to quit something is quite literally just to stop.
I agree.
Oh,
I think, I know my parents have tried to quit smoking cigarettes many times with like the nicotine patches, or what was that?
Chantix.
Thank you. And I tried it as well with Chantix and slowing down, like, I'll just minimize my smoking, but you're still doing it.
I think one of the biggest things too is everybody's like, well, you know what? I'm going to quit drinking after the holidays, or I'm going to quit drinking after something. And it's like, there's always going to be a something. Yeah. You have to just stop. And make a complete lifestyle change with anything, with a diet, with drinking, with smoking. I mean, anything. And that was.
Yeah. I think the lifestyle change, that's why I was so dramatic with it. I needed to change everything. So I'll change I'll be a vegetarian. It altered everything. So it wasn't just one thing to focus on, but that's my personality. I'm very dramatic.
Really?
Yeah. I'll show you. Watch me quit all these things.
Yeah. Well, I have, and Megan, I want to get into your story, but I have ADHD, so I hyper focus.
Yep. Yes.
On things. So I'll be like, okay, I'm really gonna do this time, and just the doctor saying that really was poo, and there were so many times. My friends were all very supportive. That's also a mega thing, and they a lot of them smoke still, or vape, or anything like that. And now it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. When I'm around it, I'm like, oh, this is fine. Having support there, someone cheering you on is good as well. But, I hyper focus on that going on. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And I think that helped me.
Yeah. That's
a
satisfying.
is my superpower.
Yeah.
I feel Megan, what's, because you're the most recent. You're
a year.
You're almost, last week, 2 weeks ago?
13th. August 13th was, I got a tattoo for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a library stamp, so it's a new chapter in my life.
Hold your finger up and just hold it still there for people, because we can zoom in on
I'm shaking. Thank you. And then I also got 3 little dots for the people I did it for.
Yeah.
So mine is actually quite opposite. She did it to quiet. I did it to feel.
Okay.
So mine was
you drank to feel.
Yeah. Okay. I finally had emotions. I could finally cry. Because I've got a lot of depression. And so I'm on Zoloft. I've been on it for years and years and years and years. And it's the only thing that works. Okay. I've tried to go off of it. I've tried supplements. I've tried functional doctors. I've tried everything under the sun. And unfortunately, that's just the one thing that works for me. And so it was and obviously I know that you can't drink while being on meds.
Right.
It made me feel again. I could feel, I could cry, I could love. And it was and I was a very happy drunk and a funny drunk. Mm-hmm. And everybody would always tell me how funny I was. And I remember thinking, I can't quit drinking because I gotta be funny, And I'm apparently I'm still funny. So that's good. But I loved being happy. Yeah. And I loved being, making people happy and making people laugh. And I thought I was a social butterfly. I thought my whole life I was an extrovert. Mm-hmm. I am not. I am very much an introvert, and I had no idea. So that was something I had to learn recently, which has been really tough, because I'm we do all these functions and run the murder mystery and whatever. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm really an extrovert or introvert. Sorry. Did I say that wrong?
No, you're
really
introvert.
Okay. Yeah. So I, for a very long time, I've drank, since I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And for a very long time, well, actually, I should say within the past couple years, I would be drinking. And most of the time it was like I drank before I went out. I had to drink before I went out because my anxiety was it was 2 drinks just to get me out of the door.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And maybe more, I don't know. And then I was having so much fun that I wouldn't stop when I got home. Mm-hmm. I would drink whatever's in the fridge, or it was very hard to come to terms with how much I was drinking. I don't think that I was like horrific, How
much would you estimate you drank like a week?
Well, I can tell you, Nick.
Oh.
So I have this, which if anybody is thinking about quitting drinking, I have this app called Nomo. And it tells you how many days you've been sober, but you have to put in how much you think you were spending. And so money saved. I am 376 days and I've saved $4,033. Hours, I've saved 1,500.
Holy.
And calories, it's like 224,000.
You think you only saved $400 in a year? Because drinks are so expensive.
So it's like 4,000, didn't it?
Yeah, what did I say?
Oh, I thought you said 400.
No, sorry, 4,000.
Oh,
4,000.
Yeah, wow, that's so much in a year, in 1 year.
Yeah, and that's not even, that was more like, I don't even think I had factored in what I was spending out, like in the restaurants. I think it was just what I was, like $75 a week or something on wine or whatever.
Because, you go to like a place like L'Italia, and this is not a knock, Jazz and Casey, but you go to a place like Italia, and some of their like higher end cocktails are like $18.
Yeah. Yep.
So it can get expensive.
Very. Yeah. So, I forgot what I was saying. I will do that a lot, by the way.
No, you were talking about, I asked you how much you thought you drank.
Oh, yeah.
A week.
I was.
So it was about $75.
I would say I was almost drinking every night, at least something.
Would you do like a whole bottle, or would you just do like half a bottle of wine?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I remember taking videos of myself.
Yeah.
Telling myself, you have to stop drinking. You have to stop drinking. I can't tell you.
You did that while you were drunk?
I still have them. And it was like one of the hardest things. And I'm like, I secretly wanted to stop. I secretly needed help, but I didn't want to. I did not have that want yet. I did not. It wasn't a need yet. And for me, the date was August 9th, 2023. Mm-hmm. I read something. The other thing I had a really hard time with was calling myself an alcoholic, because that meant that I was doing it and it was wrong.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because nowadays it's like so socially acceptable to drink. You go down to the brewery, you have a ton of drinks and you get drunk, and it's socially acceptable. It's normal. And except for the people that just can't have that.
That just can't do that.
And so August 9th, I read this thing on Instagram, and it was a girl's post that came up, and she wrote,
August 9th of last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it said, when I realized that I didn't have to identify as an alcoholic was when I stopped drinking. I just needed to realize that I was my best self sober.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was just a light bulb moment. And I wrote in my notes that day, I want to quit drink, or I want to get sober 8/9/23.
Was that the day you called me?
Yes. And then so she had actually put out a post on Facebook.
Okay.
And like those moments that you need, some people just need that moment. Like she put it out, like if it's a sign, this is it. Like, this is your sign. This is it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, that was it for me. But, I had a wedding. I had to go to a wedding, my friend Steve Harriger. Yep. And it was on the 12th. And I remember thinking, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm not going to drink at this wedding. 2 seconds in, I was like, my anxiety was through the roof. So I was like, wine. But I was like, the next day, I'm quitting. And I did. And I have not had a drink since. So August 13th.
Wow. Anxiety is so prevalent in just again, not a doctor. These are just what everybody, everybody, almost everybody that I know has some form of anxiety, whether it be social. Sure. I had one of my work buddies come out for my mom's celebration of life, and his wife has very heavy social anxiety. Mm-hmm. so they left. I was like, oh, how'd you like the pig? And how Alex liked the pig? And he's like, oh, she didn't eat. I'm like, why didn't she eat? And he's like, bro, you just don't understand. Yeah. Because I guess I'm really lucky or something. I don't really get anxiety. I don't get nervous. I mean, I do get nervous, but I'm very confident, I guess.
Yeah, you are.
Is how to say it. And I don't, so I don't care what people think. I don't crawl into myself. But like Nicole, she'll get anxious at places. Like if we go someplace where she doesn't know anybody or anything like that, she'll kind of be quiet and be like right with me or in a corner or someone, or find that one person that she knows. And I'm just like, la, 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 la.
So that's how I was not sober. I mean, I could go into anywhere and not know a single soul and have everybody be my best friend by the end of the night.
Right.
And now it's completely, I actually just had to go to a wedding on July 20th and I almost didn't make it. It was so bad. Oh, yeah. My anxiety, I had to call you. I'm like, I need you right now. You need to tell me all the things and you need to put it in a text so I can keep reading it.
So you two are like the buddy system. What do they call that?
Yeah.
It's called something.
Oh, we're codependent on each other.
No, really. Like you were going somewhere and you were like, I need you right now. I'm all right, so let's do the 5. I'm like, give me 5 things you can see. Give me 4 things you can hear. Like
I think it's not like just the anxiety. Sometimes like they're actual panic attacks.
Oh,
it's
for
not
sure.
just like this anxiousness. Like I get panic attacks where I like take me to the hospital because this must be my heart.
Really?
I'm dying. Yes, for sure.
I have a fishing buddy like that. He'll just be on the side of the river fishing, and then all of a sudden he'll just
it's awful.
Sit down and
she has this ring. It's an Aura ring that tracks everything. And remember,
looks like
we were on the phone.
Oh yeah, this is crazy. So I was having an anxiety attack a few weeks ago. I was driving. While driving. Mm-hmm. I had to go to work up in Fort Drum, and just the thought of like leaving my kids at home and driving and unknowns and everything. And I call and I was just like, I need to just verbalize how I'm feeling. And so we talk and about that. We go through that and then just bullshit and just have fun and laugh. And so this ring tracks your heart rate and it tells you like during the day, like, oh, you're stressed. Oh, you're engaged. Oh, you're relaxed. So it shows on that day, I was stressed. And we spent probably 25 minutes, half an hour on the phone while I'm driving, having a panic attack. And during that, I looked at all of a sudden it had dropped
immensely
to relaxed.
Yeah.
And it was while we were on the phone for those 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a smart ring then.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
It kind of looks, I thought it was just, it kind of looks like a car, like a nut or something like that.
Oh, it does.
So this is just a smart ring. And now I see it's so light.
Yeah.
I took it off. I probably messed up all your sensors.
She's all screwed up now.
It shows I have testosterone.
How do you know I have testosterone?
But yeah, I think, coping, if I was having a panic attack 4 years ago, I mean, not when I was driving, but I could have just had a drink.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I could have stopped and had a drink and it would have stopped that and all would have been well.
Yep.
That would have been cigarettes for me.
And so
I smoked for a long time and I smoked to stay awake.
Yeah.
When I was driving.
I did that.
Yeah.
Or when I was bored.
Yep.
Or happy or sad or.
I'd celebrate with a cigarette. I'd be sad with a cigarette. It kind of, you don't realize it while it's happening. And then when you do realize it, you deny it. You know what I mean? That's what it was for me, because Nicole hated that I smoked.
One of the hardest things that I have had to go through with this whole entire thing, and my therapist it's always the therapist that obviously it's like, why do we have to pay for help to show something that is just plain in sight? You know what I mean? And obviously you have to anyway, but she told me that I have to grieve alcohol. It's a loss.
Yeah.
And it's a loss of your other self. Mm-hmm. And that was so hard for me to grieve the process of losing alcohol and losing that funny drunk person. And then on top of it, I had to find things that I enjoyed because everything was associated with alcohol.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Cooking. I loved cooking, but I always had a drink, know.
That one conversation we had about our productiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Like we value our worth on how productive we are.
Right.
I very much like, what did I get done? What did I accomplish? So when I was drinking and then we had this conversation and we were agreeing, it was like, oh, well, I can counter if I had an afternoon drink if I painted the living room. Because look at what I got done.
Right.
So I always tried to like counter drinking with being super productive. Yeah. Because then it made me feel like, well, look at what I'm capable of.
Yeah. Right. I'm doing something bad, but I'm also doing something good.
So I think that was the other thing is once I stopped drinking, I was like, am I just going to sit here? Like,
because you don't know what you enjoy anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You have to reevaluate a lot. I'm like, why was I painting my living room once a year?
Yeah.
Because I was productive.
Yeah. Because
I had to. Right. It showed me that I was still like this super functioning person.
Can I just pause real quick?
Yeah.
You painted your living room every year?
Yeah. Well, I have 4 boys. There were like boogers.
We've lived in this house for almost 10 years now. We've never painted the living room.
Oh, no.
I painted like baseboards and stuff.
Every 4 boys and 4 dogs. It was like mud and boogers and drain.
Let me just say this.
I know they behind the couches where they all wipe their boogers. So I'd have to magic erase it and then paint it again.
Nick's gonna go home and look behind his couch.
I think Gray's still eating them.
Oh god.
No, half of it was like, look what I can do.
You're Gray, not her Gray.
Not your Gray. Sorry, my Gray.
He would be mortified.
Hers is Grayson, just to clarify. Ours is just Gray. When someone called Gray Grayson, I was like,
that's not his name.
It's Gray.
So my mom used to make me do that. When people would call me Beth, I would have to say, I'm sorry, my mom named me Bethany, and if she wanted you to call me Beth, then she would have just named me that.
I call her Beth, and I never realized it until Adam one day was like, you and Dan Aftuck are the only 2 people that are allowed to call her Beth, apparently. I'm like, I don't call her Beth. Oh. And I kept saying that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm calling you Beth. That's so weird. I never noticed it. I had called her Beth forever and never realized it. That was funny.
Wow. Gwen's name is actually Gwendolyn, or Gwen is fine. G is what we usually call her, like, hey, G. But she has an uncle that calls her Gwenny, and it drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. But now her friends are calling her Gwenny. So I just have to suck it up.
Yeah, you do.
Yep.
Nicole's
Does she like it?
Suck it up, huh?
Is she okay with it?
I haven't even asked her, quite honestly. She doesn't.
Maybe it makes her mad too.
Maybe.
And then she needs to say, excuse me. If my dad wanted you to call me.
Yes. Yep.
We have to keep this somewhat light because we're going dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was smoking, like you were saying. Smoking was my friend, essentially. Cigarettes were my friend. They were always there when I needed them, and I would rely on them to do stuff. Oh, I was less productive, though, with smoking, because I would do like, I'm going to set this render up on this video. I'll go out and have a cigarette. And then I'm out there for like 15 minutes, and the render takes 3 minutes, So I actually found that I was more productive.
Oh, yeah.
When I stopped smoking cigarettes.
Mine was like, if I do all this and get it done in one day, then at 5 o'clock I can just drink my face off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was for me. Like it was, if I didn't, then I probably wouldn't. Well, let's be serious. I probably would, but yeah, I had to be productive. And now I'm like, so not. I dread everything. It's awful. But
really?
Because I have not figured out what I like again. In fact, like I was just saying to you, I'm actually going to get a new camera because I miss taking pictures.
Yeah.
And I love taking pictures, and I have to for my job. But obviously right now I'm like in like 2-year projects, which I can't just take pictures of during that. I haven't finished them yet. So, but yeah, so I'm going to get a new camera, and hopefully that'll be like my new thing.
You need my time-lapse cameras that you can just set up.
Yeah. Yeah.
About it.
Well, I can use my old camera for that.
That's true.
So.
What did you find was your thing that you can? Did you have a hobby that didn't involve
sitting on my couch?
Oh yeah, I love sitting on her couch. I hunt.
On her couch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My couch. Actually, my chair. She has her chair. She has her own chair.
Yeah, I have things. I had things. I hunt, so that didn't involve. But it was always like, well, let's go do it. So then in the afternoon I can, my first buck was, I remember celebrating drinking at 9 a.m. with my brother because it was, it was a big deal. And that's what let's celebrate. So then the next hunting season when I was sober, I was like, wait a minute. Yep. We just take pictures and we're done. That's it.
Right. That was like it was for me for my family reunion this year. I was like, it was very different. Very different.
So no, I have hobby. I coach. I spend all year really playing soccer with the boys, and I've coached my whole life. I've coached since I've been out of high school, but I've really been able to like focus and do a good job. Like, I think I do a decent job, but able to give myself instead of like when I was drinking, it was kind of like, oh man, like that's taking a part of my day away. And just not having those feelings anymore is so nice.
Yeah.
And hunt, like now my kids are hunting and just doing those things that I would have been like, oh man, I have to take the kids.
That was a big thing. That was like, a huge thing. It was like, well, I can't do that because I'll be drinking.
Right.
My whole world revolved around, well, I can't drive, so I guess I'm just not going to go.
Yeah.
Okay. That was big for me.
So, and now the complete mind shift of like, I don't think I go anywhere without my kids. I mean, I took them to a golf tournament and then sent them to Megan's backyard because now
they come and hang out with me and they love it.
Yeah. You have that awesome tree house.
I know, and it's almost just about finished. We just bought a couch yesterday for it.
Oh.
You bought a couch for your treehouse?
Yeah, I came up there one day and Nick had a.
Are you going to be leasing it?
We have a TV and a fan and a loft and
it's a tree B&B.
Yeah, yeah.
There are those. People have tree B&Bs.
Don't we have one in Wellsville?
Yeah,
on the WAG somewhere.
The WAG trail. Yeah. How do you feel? Did you notice any changes in your body, like your skin, or I hear that.
Oh my gosh.
You kept telling me, you're like, your skin looks amazing.
I was like creepy. I was like, your skin just looks so good.
You're glowing.
It's actually crazy to me. Like, well, my story's different than yours as far as the physical part, because the same day that the next day. So I stopped drinking on a Sunday, and then Monday I started working out. And that was the first time I'd ever walked into a gym in my life. And so I worked out hard for 3 months and I lost 30 pounds.
JBs?
JBs. And so I worked hard for 3 months, and I think that helped me.
Okay.
And then I had to stop because I had patellar tendonitis and it was killing me to work out. So I stopped, and then I haven't actually been back, which I need to. But my physical appearance was huge. It was a huge shift and a change and all of the above. But I don't know if it would have been if I hadn't been working out. But the skin part and like my hair and just, you know how like
sleep. It took a long time. Yes. Sleep took a long time to come to a normal cycle. But once it came, it was just so much different. Right. If I drink, so, between this tracks and this, like, I mean, my heart rate was in the 90s all night and I woke up not rested, and the change in my sleep was a huge thing, which I think is an overall, change in. My
sleep's all over the place, but it always has been ever since I was little. But the bags, like, I have hereditary bags anyway, but like when you would wake up.
Are bags hereditary? Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I am a doctor.
How are my bags?
Mine are awful, but it's...
Man, all you got was bags from your hereditary. I got alcoholism.
So did I. I got that too. No, but like I remember like when you would wake up hungover and it was just like somebody's tugging on your bags and you're just so tired all the time. And I tell you, I don't miss waking up hungover in any way. Like it makes me so happy to not wake up hungover. So happy.
Oh yeah. Like I'm up between 5:30 and 6 every day of the week. That would never be me. 365. I love that time. I love that time of day. And I love doing it sober. So now my productiveness, that is my time, because I don't have a headache and I don't need to throw up, and I have all the housework done before 7:30 in the morning.
I'm not even up by then.
Yeah, still. I usually wake up around 7:30.
Well, when in school, the kids, obviously I get up with them, but then I go back to bed.
Unless we're doing fishing. I'll wake up for fishing.
Hazel's a big fisher.
Oh, the boys will.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The boys will fit. I have fished every pond this summer.
Hazel, she's fished with you guys. She will fillet them too and eat them.
Oh, I love eating.
We did have a brook trout a few weeks ago.
She loves to fish.
You caught a brook trout in the summer?
Gray did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Grays are just cool kids. So you noticed your skin's different. Mm-hmm. Obviously you feel better. Mm-hmm. We've said that many times.
So the anxiety. So we're anxious people. So it's still there.
My anxiety's actually gotten worse since I stopped drinking, but I think it's because it's all just coping. You know what I mean? It's all I need to figure, that's why I'm in therapy. Like I need to figure out how to cope with it. Mm-hmm. And there are some days that are worse and some days that are better, and it's getting better. It's definitely getting better unless I have a huge function to do. And then it's really bad. Like what was it that was just, the 100-year chamber event. I had planned on going and like I was going.
I completely forgot about that.
Well, you had some
it just popped into my head.
You had some things going on, but I wrote to Carrie and I was like, hey, are you going? Because I needed to know that somebody I knew, obviously I knew everybody that was going to be there, but I had to have somebody to cling on, and Carrie was going to be my cling on. And she's like, yep. I'm like, I'm going. What was that?
Cling on.
Oh, and then
live long and prosper.
I am not kidding you when I tell you my anxiety was so bad. I thought I was going to throw up or have to go to the bathroom or whatever. I could not physically get myself out the door. Okay. And I felt so bad. And I'm like, and then I went out to dinner with them and I was like, she's like, hi, are you, cause I said I was sick. I wasn't feeling good. And they were like, are you okay? And I was like, it was my anxiety. I couldn't even breathe.
Yeah, that's where it turns into a panic.
It's a panic and it's debilitating. Okay. Absolutely debilitating. And then it sucks because you missed an event that you wanted to be there for. There's so many events that I was supposed to work at, something was downtown. I can't remember. Oh, the wine walk maybe? I can't remember, but.
The wine walk was later in the year this year.
I was supposed to work at the event at the brewery.
Yep.
And I was like, I can't physically go down there. Like I felt like I was going to drink if I did. So like those things are almost debilitating. But
my birthday.
Her birthday was at Kent's, her 40th, which I would never want to miss. I couldn't go.
I could not. 40.
Yeah.
She's over 40.
Barely.
You're over.
So are you.
But yeah, I couldn't. I'm way over 40. But yeah, I couldn't go. I felt so bad, but I knew that if anybody understood, it was her.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so that's kind of like contradicting. My 40th birthday party was at Kent's.
Yeah.
Right. Which is
because everybody was like, wait. And I was like, I just wanted a neutral zone for all my people. Like, I don't know. My only struggle that I have is when I'm like in a deeply stressful situation.
Which you were.
Otherwise,
you still did it.
Otherwise, I don't struggle. Like I feel bad. I'm not trying to be self-righteous, but I really don't struggle to stay sober. Like I just have zero interest in it.
Right.
Unless I have something like emotionally overwhelming going on, and I'll say, and like my words are always like, it would just be nice to drink and like stop that for a second.
I can't tell you how many times in the past 3 months that I've just really wanted a cigarette.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm thinking in my head, the thing that kept me from it, really, like the main thing that kept me from it was like, this is literally why your mom is dying.
Oh yeah.
You know,
a really shitty time to.
Yeah. You don't want to do that.
No. Yeah. The other thing that I had a hard time with is, and I don't know if this is anything that you have, but I don't get invited to anything anymore. And I'm like, come on, people.
Oh.
Why?
I think it's out of respect. Like they don't want me to be around it, but I'm like, let me make that decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think at the beginning, sorry.
No, you're good.
I think at the beginning, I declined things so much. No thanks, no thanks, no thanks. That it was like, well, why are we going to keep inviting her? And now I'm like, my feelings are hurt. I'm like, invite me. Let me drive.
Yeah. I'm here.
Me too. I could be the DD.
Me too. And like, I want it. Like, I will drive you. I will do whatever. Please invite me. But if I don't want to go, let me make that decision. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But it's contradicting. Like, I see the other side of it now, like where people were like, well, we didn't want to invite you because we didn't. And it was like, and then I sat at home, like my feelings were so hurt. Nobody wants to hang out with me anymore. Nobody likes me anymore because I'm not, that person anymore. When I think it was a respect thing, but now I am like, for sure. Please just keep inviting me.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because a couple months ago I was having a really tough time, and like it was bad. And Nick, actually my friend Liz had written us, like our group, a little text message, and it was like, hey, we're going to have some appetizers or whatever at my house, come over whenever, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up writing to the group and I was like, I'm having a really bad day. Actually, I didn't realize it, but Nick had written to them and was like, she is having a bad day, just kind of be there for her. And so I wrote, I was like, guys, I am so sorry, but I can't come. My anxiety is so bad.
Right.
And so the next day I saw my friend Christy. I'm like, how was the party, or how was Liz's house? And she goes, none of us went. It was for you. It was a sober party. I'm like, I didn't know that. I felt like a complete jerk. I'm like, well, I didn't know that.
Oh no.
I don't know if I still would have been able to come, but like, cause my anxiety was so bad, I would have been a horrible time. But I'm like,
so
crap.
you even have anxiety when it's like your close friends like that? Like
I even had anxiety with my children. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I'll have to like go in my room and lay down and just to not die inside. It's
I feel
so
like
bad.
That's becoming a disease. A legitimate disease. Again, not a doctor, but I just feel like that's becoming like
my 14-year-old struggles.
I just did a short film, and it was about not feeling alone and anxiety and stuff, and it was just almost every single cast member had some form of major anxiety. We went to New York City for the premiere, and this one girl was like, oh, my anxiety, I could never live here. I could never live here ever. And I was like, really? Cause I love it. I love all the hustle bustle. I love being around people. So it is really hard for me to understand. Like it's very hard for me to understand it.
I like it when I'm not anxious.
Me too.
Like there are certain times and sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. And sometimes I can get through it and I love that. But if it's going to creep on and then I can't.
It's debilitating.
But Xander is 14 and so I verbalize in my house like, hey guys, we talk about it. We all I'm like, therapy, you're going to therapy, everybody's getting therapy.
Yep.
This isn't an ad for therapy.
You get a doctor and you get a doctor. Everybody gets a doctor.
But he verbalizes now, I can't, his 8th grade trip goes to Washington, D.C. and he couldn't go. His whole 8th grade class. And we talked for weeks coming on. I don't think I can do it. There was a shooting here and he had pulled information from the news. And then he said, and I don't think I should be going to DC on an election year. Now, what do you want me to say to a 14-year-old?
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong. But so he struggles. So again, a hereditary. And if I look back, like my maternal grandmother didn't do anything except go to Buffalo Bills games. That was the only time she left. My grandpa did all the errands, all the bill pay, everything. And I look back and now I'm like, oh, I bet that was anxiety.
Yeah. Right.
And my 12-year-old, Hazel, has really bad anxiety, so much that she's on Prozac. And that was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make in my life was we tried everything. You name it, we tried it. And she's got a therapist and a child psychologist and psychiatrist. And she's so much better, but she still struggles. And her coping mechanism is picking her skin, and it's bad.
Yep. Gwen's a picker.
Then that comes to when you are able to drink alcohol, like I could just have a few drinks and it would stop.
Right.
But my kids have also, and I don't know, I can't remember if they've ever said anything to me about it, but like Maddie, especially because she's older, she is like, I'm so glad you don't drink anymore. I see a lot of people, a lot of parents that, that are drinking, and I don't know as if she realized it then, but realizes it now because she's older. Well, and I notice it sober. It's like the change in people when they're drunk, the slurring and the repeating. Did I repeat? I must have
Oh yeah, I can play scenarios out of myself in my head that I'm like, oh man.
It's the slurring and the repeating, and actually the smell I can't do anymore. In fact, like my husband will be like he just came back from a cornhole tournament. I picked him up, and the stale smell, I could not stand it. And then it was like it sat in my car for like 5 days. So the smell is like overwhelmingly. It's kind of like cigarette smell when you stop smoking. You know.
I will say though,
there are certain times where I still am like,
there's nothing like,
oh, for sure.
Like walking into Walmart and like someone, like an employee is just standing outside and they first light it. that
so
smell
I still have
right
that.
there.
I love that smell.
Where it's just like, then after it's all dirty and gross. But that first
But I mean, when is the last time you went into like a bar and you're like, that stale smell? You know what I mean? I don't think there's ever any of that.
No, actually. Well, I did used to do that. So even when I smoked cigarettes, because I started when you could still smoke in bars, I still never smoked in a bar. I would like go outside.
Yeah.
You didn't sit in the
so
kitchen
intense.
Better Days and smoke?
No, I actually didn't like the smell of. Well, I went outside, so I did go outside the back door of Better Days back in the day.
That was my favorite social area.
Well, so people would stay inside, but I'd like take the one step outside just because I like the fresh air and everything.
Yeah, that is true.
But going back, there are times that, because you mentioned that you have fear of going places and being with people, and anxiety, not a fear, sorry, an anxiety of it. And there are times where I just want to be alone, but like I'll go down to the river and I'll fish by myself. Like that's my alone time, or I'll play my guitar or something like that. But it's like, I want to be alone. It's not like you have to be around people right now.
No, it is definitely a can't be around people.
See, mine's not opposite. Like I can't sometimes get myself in social settings, but I don't want to be alone. I'm better if Adam or one of the kids, I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
my alone time that I want to be alone is very minimal.
Yeah.
Like, cause I love people's energy. I love being around people. I love being in social situations and stuff. And most of the time I mean, cause I don't really drink too much. I do other extracurriculars that are legal, but I don't need it.
Yeah. It's not,
but I do, I guess my addiction is just being around people. I don't know if that would, aside from cigarettes, but like, that's where I cope the best.
Yeah.
Like handle things the best is when I'm around and hearing everybody else's stories and problems and stuff. I don't know.
Well, mine lately was isolation. And I think that's another reason why, like, my friend Liz was like, I'm going to put this together, but not tell you that it was sober. And, maybe now actually thinking back, she did say something about no drinks. So maybe I just wasn't thinking
We're
that.
just going to eat some soup. Yeah. Get all fat and sassy.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, maybe she did say that, but I didn't know it was like for me, you know what I mean? But like, crap, I forgot what I was going with that again. But what was it?
Should we put a counter up every time, like ding every
time? Seriously, that's 2.
You did say that in the beginning.
I did. I clarified that. Now I can't remember what I was saying, but can you do like a rewinding number? You know what I mean? It goes back to what I said.
There's my speaking.
You were talking about the party and everything like that. How she threw the sober
being
party.
alone, isolation.
Oh, yes. She had said to me, you can't isolate. So the breaking point for me was my dog had passed away.
Yeah.
And what I realized after, so she had reached out and she's like, Megan, you're isolating and you can't do that. You need help. And I was like, I know, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Well, I remember specifically that day sitting on the couch and she was texting me and she said, you have to get help. You have to do something. You cannot isolate. Mm-hmm. And so I actually went on BetterHelp.com and I signed up with a therapist and I actually love her. She's phenomenal. And she had said to me, when did you get Rocco? And I was like, about 3 years ago. And she said, and when was the last time you were depressed? Because I hadn't been depressed in like 3 years. And I said about 3 years ago. And she goes, do you think that he could have been your emotional support dog? And I was like, yes. Why didn't I notice that?
Yeah.
And it was I can't explain to you how hard it was for me to lose him. And
you were talking about Bernie.
So Bernie, when we lost Bernie years ago, it was tough, but I had alcohol.
Oh, right.
Right.
I had alcohol. So it was tough for me, especially because when we lost him, we weren't living in our house because we were going through the mold remediation. So we weren't living in our house. And then we lost a dog. And then I had COVID. It was around the time we lost him, Joyce. And it was just all these things, you know what I mean? But I had alcohol.
Right.
So I had to do it raw and real. And it was awful.
Oh, feeling things is
it was awful.
So hard.
Yep. I'm still not over it. Like it just gets easier, but I'm still not over it. But that was when I started isolating really bad. I wasn't going to see anybody. I wasn't talking. People were calling me, texting me. I was not. And I I'm a natural not texter backer. Yeah, my friend Angie, like she's always like, I have to write to you again because I know that you're not going to respond.
I'm a caller.
You are.
Like my buddy, someone will text me or something, and I'll just I'll call them. Right away.
I like calling too.
But I am like the epitome of never getting back, and it's not because I don't want to. It's because I forget. I get very sidetracked very quickly, and but I was at that point not texting back, not calling for a purpose. I couldn't bring myself. I was crying constantly and stuff, and that was tough.
Which then led to a relapse in your physical. Were you already sick again?
My health.
Your health. Which autoimmune stuff.
Like, yeah,
I did not. Yeah. I was like, no.
I'm like, did I do something I didn't know?
No, you're like,
did I black out? Yeah. You don't remember me calling me drunk? No. Yeah, my health took a hit again, and I started going back to my functional doctor because I have autoimmune problems. And and that's actually was really hard because it was like I did all these things to get better, and then it was like, nope, you've got this and all these tests are coming back positive. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. How does that happen? So I'm back with a functional doctor again, trying to keep that at bay. And I've actually started cupping, which I know that you love.
Oh, I love it.
I cannot explain to you.
What is cupping?
I don't know what
your massage therapist does. It's like suction cups on you. And I have no pain in my hips.
Is that why, like I see on Instagram,
you see the circles,
like the bruises,
Yep. Yeah. I'm telling you, it works. If you have pain, it works. Yeah. Actually, Karen called you a cupping whore, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. I was like, I love that.
Get one on me.
Yep. Oh, me too.
She gave me 2 little suction cup ones that I can use while she's out.
She was going to give me hers too, but I actually am going to the guy at LaGras, which he was great. So,
so when I got sick with Lyme last summer, I struggled.
Was it a tick?
Yeah.
That was bad.
Ticks.
I got really sick, bedbound, stiff neck, teeth pain, everything.
Your toes.
My toes turned purple and the skin started falling off. And I kept saying, I think I have Lyme.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's COVID. That's COVID toes. And I was like, I think I have Lyme. Like the boys are fishing all the time.
COVID toes. That's so weird.
Yeah, that was a thing, I guess.
Your toes are deteriorating because you have COVID.
That was, I guess, a thing. And so that's what immediately, and I was like, no, I'm telling you, I'm sitting on Jack Bridge and every other riverbank on the Genesee with the boys fishing. I think I have Lyme disease.
Sorry.
And after one trip, they wanted to do a spinal tap. And I was like, that seems pretty invasive.
I had a lot of spinal taps.
Great movie.
In college, because I was hungover, and that's what I would say. I'm so sorry I can't be to work today. I had a spinal tap. I think I have meningitis. I had meningitis a lot.
That is not one I would have picked.
Oh, spinal tap. Why not? My stepdad always laughs about that.
I just used to say that I have explosive diarrhea.
I know that.
Go right for the throat. I think I have spinal meningitis, and I just had to have a spinal tap. Didn't you just have one last week?
Can you show me the scars on your back from all these pokes and prods?
But when I got really sick, that was like a small demise. It definitely hit my anxiety worse because I was worried about like long term. My anxiety, like my therapist and I talk, and mine's a lot about like things I can't control. If I can control everything, I feel in check. The things I can't control cause me to spiral, and that like unknown, am I ever going to be better? How long am I going to be sick? And I'm still not great.
Well, and you are a chronic WebMDer.
No. I don't. I'm not a WebMDer so much anymore.
It's more Google now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No. I stopped Googling.
Good. I'm glad.
Unless it's like
she would text me and she'd be like, "Well, I think that this might be related to this and this." I'm like, "Get off the internet."
Do you think that this could be an aneurysm? This headache?
Yes, you have said that.
I go those places.
She has said that. I'm like, "Get off the internet."
I don't know why.
No.
I don't know why I'm like that. I'm less like that. But Lyme.
But then I'll be like, "Here, read this book, Brain on Fire."
So then I did think I had encephalitis of the brain.
I probably shouldn't have done that.
That was a movie too, right? Did they make a movie about that?
Yeah. That bacterial, she had inflammation of the brain, encephalitis.
Yeah, you definitely thought you had that too.
I got to look that up. Keep talking.
Brain on Fire?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Man on Fire?
No, Brain on Fire, the girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know they made a movie of that.
Yeah, there is. I watched it. It turns out I did not have it.
Oh, Good.
I think like Chloe Grace Moritz or whatever, isn't it? Brain on Fire. These are the things that we need to discover on this podcast. Yeah, Brain on Fire. Chloe Grace Moritz.
Look at you. Yeah. What year was that?
2016. No. It's only an hour and a half. Wow.
I'm going to go home and watch it.
It's like a unicorn.
I'm going to have encephalitis in my brain.
But yeah, I'm very much like health oriented. So Lyme last summer set me back anxiety wise, where it became, like I said, I don't really, I'm not concerned with like drinking again, but there are moments where I'm like, it would be so nice, but I don't like my follow through is not there. Like I'm not going to like, it's not there, but and worrying about being sick.
I think your longevity too, your 3.5 years has helped a lot.
But I think I just came to terms like in the last year at therapy, because I spent the first 2 years kind of like, I'm just not drinking.
Right.
I didn't really label it. I was, I'm just taking a break for my anxiety. I didn't really discuss with much more than you and my husband that I had a problem.
Yep.
Outwardly, I would just be like, oh yeah, I'm just taking a break from my anxiety, or yeah, I'm just like cutting out alcohol and caffeine and meat for a while.
Well, I remember
like I kind of just really downplayed it. And in the last year, I finally was able to verbalize like, no, I actually.
I remember when you were my case study for school for aromatherapy.
Oh yeah.
And because back in 2020, when obviously we couldn't do anything, I decided I was going to go to school to be a certified aromatherapist and then go on to clinical aromatherapy to like have somebody around here have a holistic approach.
I didn't know that.
With doctors and stuff. So I had to do 20 case studies. She was one of mine for blood pressure. And I remember you sitting on the couch and you were like, yeah, I think I might stop drinking just for my blood pressure. Just for my blood pressure. Yep. You know what I mean? And then I remember you were talking, it was at Christy's birthday at the brewery and you were drinking water. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was like, are you really not drinking?
Yeah. I didn't publicize anything until last summer is when I finally came to terms to be able to say, I don't know, I had something going on last summer that was very like mentally, emotionally. And that was probably the one time I contemplated and I thought about drinking. And so that was 2.5 years. And I grabbed my phone and I just Googled, how long ago was December 11th, 2020? And it was like 1,106. And I was like, oh, that's a long time. Never mind.
Yeah.
Like that's what I needed. But that was the day I made a post because I had never put anything on Facebook or, I really hadn't even discussed it with much more than a handful of people. Like I said, I was just like, I'm not drinking right now. But that was the day I kind of came to terms and said like, oh, no, if you have to Google
right.
How long
and that was the day that it was like my sign.
Sober.
I needed that.
Who did I talk to about? Who did I ask? Because I was like, I asked one of you. I was like, you should come on the podcast. What do you want to talk about?
Oh,
was it you?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm going to bring Megan on too.
Yeah.
I know we planned this.
And that was still that. What
was back in December.
Yeah. So it was still new and But yeah, since I've been able to verbalize and self-admit in therapy, like now I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. Like,
it's also really nice because I can't tell you the amount of people that have reached out and they're like, can you help me?
Yeah.
It is, every single day I'm still getting somebody that's like, I need help. I need to do this. And I'm like, honestly, what can I do? What do you need from me? Because I will do anything to help you because I've been there and it's hard and you need somebody, you need a cheerleader.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need a cheerleader and you can do this. And I'm still reaching out to people every day and being like, I just reached out to one of my friends today and I'm like, how you doing? Just need to make sure you're still there or what do you need from me?
I had Jordan Aftuck, Costello.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan.
Just say Lexus.
Same.
Lexus. Yeah. I had Jordan on the podcast and she talked about how she's completely sober now as well. Which is crazy. It seems like more and more people, in a good way, are doing it. And then you don't judge anybody,
right? That's what I was just going to say.
Right.
I don't think everybody needs to stop drinking. Right. I just can't.
Right?
You can.
Right.
And I want to go with you.
Yes.
But I just can't.
The other thing too is I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I did struggle with that because I didn't want people to think like that I was judging or that I was self-righteous, like I'm better than you. Like I have no judgment in it. I want to come along. I just can't do it. It doesn't work out well for me.
If you're smoking cigarettes, you need to stop. You heard that straight from the source. I'll back it up.
I've had quite a few people tell me how bad it was for them, like what they were doing and things they were doing. And it was actually like, I think they were telling me because they know I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
And they know I'm not going to judge them. But it was also like, holy crap, I've never said that out loud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
When I've said stuff out loud of like things that I would do, the guilt that I felt, like it was so much better. And I'm like, if you want to tell me everything that you were doing and the bad things and the good things and whatever, that's fine. I think that's helped a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Like verbalizing it, saying it to yourself is one thing. Verbalizing it is making it an issue and making it real. And I think that helps people. So it's like, reach out to me. I am 100% on board. You can tell me all the things. I will not judge, but I will help.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll ever get to a point, because my buddies asked me this when I quit smoking, do you think you'll ever get to a point where you can
drink again?
Have one drink.
No.
And not
Nope.
turn into, yeah.
No, I just told you, I need to buy lottery tickets just because I won one time. Like, and my personality it's in that all or nothing thing also that plays into like, oh, I'm going to quit drinking, smoking, caffeine. Like, no, I'm just an all in.
Well, that's why I don't like previously when I tried to quit smoking, I was like, oh, I'll just smoke a pipe, like a tobacco pipe every once in a while. I never got into vaping, but like, they're like, well, you can do this, this, and this, and it's not smoking. I'm like, well, it's still that motion. It's that motion. It's the inhaling, and I'll just get right back into smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, the thing is that I always said is it wasn't what was in my cup. It was this.
Yeah.
And I am a very quick drinker. So I was getting very drunk very fast, and then my tolerance was just so high.
Yep.
So I can go out and I'm still drinking water like crazy. Yeah. And whatever is in the drink or a mocktail, I'm still drinking a ton of it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, yeah. If I look at, my genetics just say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was one thing that came out for me is I had family reach out, second and third cousins, but at the end of it, we're all related, and say, oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's deep in and I was, yeah. And I wasn't sure that I was a believer in its heredity. I think at some points I thought like, that's who you are, like that. Right. It's not inherited. I do believe that plays a role. Yeah. But yeah, when family members started reaching out and saying like, hey, holy shit, you're really like breaking the generational.
Yeah. It is. And the other thing too that's funny is so many people, I don't know if you have this, but so many people are like, you're really never going to have another one?
Oh, yeah.
No. But really? And then some people will go, I know that you're sober, but just try this.
Oh,
it's so good. I'm like,
worst.
No.
That would be the worst. I would look at them and I'd be like, if I was in that situation, I'd just be like,
yeah,
you serious?
No.
Right now? Do you know how hard?
Yeah, do you know how hard? Exactly. But again, it's the not understanding part, and I'm not going to hold it against anybody for doing that. You know what I mean? It's like, because they can just, I envy people that can just have one drink. Yeah. I envy so much.
I can just have one drink.
And I envy that.
Like, I'm all right. I'll get a warm, fuzzy feeling in my ears and be like, I'm good.
I always got it.
Feeling.
I always got it on my arms. I miss that so much.
That's what I chase. That's those moments where I can't deal with anything else. That's what I say. I struggled because of my anxiety. Like I did have to go to the doctor and medicate for my anxiety because I was having these attacks regularly that 2 drinks were taking care of. And now it's like, I have to go to the hospital, like look at my pulse, look at my blood pressure, look at my, so that took me probably 8 months of taking anxiety medicine almost every day to then wean myself off of that.
And you were off for a long time.
Yeah. And now it's like more as needed. I still get them. But sometimes I can talk my way through it instead of like needing to, but I'll joke about like, needing an anxiety pill to do something like this.
and too, just saying that helps.
Yeah.
As the joke, you know what I mean? It really does help. Well, I think I'm going to have an anxiety pill. And then you're like, nah, I'm just kidding.
I'm good.
Just saying it out loud.
What would you, to wrap this up, what would you say to someone who, again, you're not judgmental. You're not judging other people
No.
for smoking at all. Everyone can do their own thing, and it's their own. People are their own people. But to the person who may be listening or watching this and like feeling like, okay, this is kind of hitting home, what would you say?
So if you've wrote a note to yourself in your notes app, or if you've recorded yourself, you're probably far enough in that if you're questioning it, just do it. Just do it. Oh my gosh.
But don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't keep it quiet. Quality.
I mean, you can keep it quiet, but reach out to somebody to keep you accountable.
Yeah.
And somebody that you can she's mine. Anytime I need, I'm like, hey, I just need something. You have to send it in a text for me so I can constantly read it.
My husband was great. Adam was Adam's never drank. Mm-hmm. So that was the other thing. I've never had to contend with like alcohol in the house. Like there was no, Adam doesn't drink. And he is and was wonderful. And then my friend Nicole Whitwood is a psychologist. So I kind of before I started therapy, she was like, I really leaned hard into her also.
Yeah. Nick is phenomenal. He's always there he's so supportive, and my kids are supportive too. So it was easy for me to stop. Actually, in the very beginning, I thought, I'm like, this is really easy. Like maybe I didn't have a problem. And I realized it was the gym that was helping me.
Yep. And you went from one addiction to another addiction.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and that's what mine is everything. Let me coach soccer and go to college full time and raise kids, and I can, mine is burying myself in activity to cope. And my therapist said, that's a coping skill. And she goes, but it's not the worst one.
Yeah, things could be worse.
You mentioned that there's never alcohol. There was alcohol in your house because people didn't drink, and there isn't now. We were going through all mom's stuff up at the house because they have a farmhouse up in the hill. You would swear to God that Mom and Greg were alcoholics. There was boxes of wine, like boxes of bottles of wine, that she would buy. And it was all for cooking.
What?
Yeah, she didn't drink. She didn't drink at all.
She must have cooked a lot.
She did.
Holy crap.
But obviously she didn't do too much because there's literally boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Boxes and boxes of wine. We're going to be having a yard sale. We can't sell the wine, but we can enjoy it. Can enjoy it and just slide some cash.
That is funny.
But no, there's literally boxes. There's the hard liquor. There's like a whole, there's bottles and bottles of hard liquor. We, during our celebration of life, we took it all out up to the cabinet. Here you go, guys.
See, we still have a lot of liquor in our house because my husband still drinks, and it's completely fine. I have no problem with it other than the stale smell the day after or whatever. But I have no problem with it being around. But I also have on hand at all times NA beer.
Yeah.
And then you will also show up with poppies.
Oh, yeah.
And she has got me hooked on chocolate like you can't believe. Their drinks.
Probiotic. It tells you it's good for your gut. I'm sure it's just a scheme.
I love kombucha.
It's a scheme.
Oh, I love kombucha too.
Oh, I can't.
Dr.
Teal's.
Oh, no, I love kombucha.
No, I can't do it.
But I'm a complete beverage person now. I laughed. I'm like, the coffee stereotype, like when you watched movies when you were kids and the sober person always had a coffee. Get it. But I'm always looking for a beverage. I don't do any alcohol though.
I do because I loved the taste of beer. I loved the taste, and so I actually have The Athletic makes a really good NA, and then the Sam Adams, it's called Just the Haze, and it's so good.
I can't do beer. I'm not a big beer guy.
I miss beer. So I miss wine mostly, but
the only time that I love having a beer, and it could be NA or whatever, it's usually Natty Boh because I'm down in Maryland, is seafood. I love beer and seafood.
See, it was really hard for me because I missed a Corona this year. In the winter, in the summer.
Nothing like a winter Corona.
In the summer, just drinking a Corona, I miss that so much.
Yeah.
The other thing that I found that as helps, because I also drank vodka and whatever was available. I'll put tonic water in with a poppy or something like that, and it tastes like a mixed drink.
People are going to be listening to this and be like, sounds like they really like the drink.
Everything. Whatever was available is what I drank.
Well, no, I can honestly say, as someone who, again, it wasn't alcohol, but cigarettes was hard. It's not easy. And kudos to the both of you for doing. Congratulations on a year.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you for almost 4 years now. You're coming up on 4 years. That's amazing. It's been June 17th, 2020. So it's been 4 years for me.
That's awesome.
Without cheating.
And you quit during COVID? Oh, geez.
I did.
That's hard.
I think that was actually easier.
Oh, really? Oh, because you weren't out.
Because I wasn't around. Social. Yeah, I wasn't around people and stuff like that. Going up to my parents was hard because they both smoked.
Yeah.
That was where it was like the hardest. Just again, that like first lit was hard, but
I think going to my mom's house was hard in the beginning because she's got this huge island and it was always like my mom at one end, John at the other, Nick and me. Like we always have, you know what I mean? We're always just drinking and drinking and drinking. It's hard to break those habits. And then you just don't have it. You're like, well, what am I going to do? Play cards with myself and while everybody's drinking, but you learn and it changes.
Changing routine. I had to change routine for a lot of things.
I would go out before I'd go to bed. I'd go out like right when I woke up in the morning. And now I'm just, I think it was a year and a half. I think it took me a year and a half after doing it to just be like, I really don't need that.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still, like I said, like, you know, walking into Walmart with some laces, like I'll still be like, those tingles. But I can squash them like almost immediately. Yep. It took me a while for that first year and a half to just be like, okay. I'd have to like walk away and I'd have to just like do something else to keep my mind distracted. But now I can just, it's easy.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, I have to have a daily reminder and that app every night will show up. You added one more day to your sober count. And it's like, thank God that day was hard. You know what I mean? And there's some days where I'm like, that was hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to answer your question, I think first of all, showing up for yourself and admitting that you have a problem is number one. And then even if you do fall off the wagon again and then realize like, holy crap, I can't do that again. Just noticing that again is huge, you know? So showing up for yourself and I think reaching out to somebody for sure. And I'm happy to help anybody get anywhere they need to be, even if it's just for a day.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's freaking tough, but you need somebody and you need to be there for yourself. And if you have kids, I think it is a little bit easier because you're showing up for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I think that's what one of my notes in my phone had said weeks or months before was like the evening time. Because I would go outside so I could smoke a cigarette while I was drinking. And then I would just stay outside for 20 minutes. And that was one of my last, like, you're literally missing time.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you two coming on and telling your stories.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, we're not doctors. I'm not a doctor. If you are struggling with someone, reach out to a friend or something, someone or something. And there's no judgment. You do your thing. But if you need help, reach out to your friends, reach out to a therapist, right?
Yeah.
That's what you say?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Next time we come on, we'll talk about puppies and rainbows.
Maybe a little bit because I still can't get over my puppy.
Oh, kittens and rainbows.
All right, I hate cats, so that's good.